Metro 2033 is a survival horror first-person shooter video game, based on the novel Metro 2033 by Russian author Dmitry Glukhovsky. It was developed by 4A Games in Ukraine and released in March 2010 for Microsoft Windows and Xbox 360. A sequel, Metro: Last Light, was released on May 14, 2013 in North America and May 17, 2013 in Europe, Australia, and Russia. Gameplay: the game is played from the perspective of Artyom, the player character. The story takes place in post-apocalyptic Moscow, mostly inside the metro system, but occasionally missions bring the player above ground. As a first-person shooter, Metro 2033 features a variety of firearms, some fictional and some based on real weapons, which the player will use in combat. Combat alternates between the player fighting mutants and the player fighting hostile humans. Mutants do not possess weapons and tend to physically attack the player in swarms, while humans fight with the same firearms available to the player. The game features recharging health rather than a traditional health point system. If the player avoids taking damage for a period, health will slowly recharge. However, the player can speed up this process by using a stim from a medkit, which will almost instantly heal the player to full health. When the player is severely injured, it may take over 20 seconds to return to full health. In the post-apocalyptic environment, ammunition is a rare and essential commodity. Pre-apocalypse military-grade ammunition is used as currency. To avoid shooting money, the player can also use lower-quality bullets made within the metros, which do less damage. Due to the scarcity of ammunition, a crucial aspect of gameplay is scavenging. The player can loot corpses and the environment for spare ammunition, as well as weapons and items. The military-grade ammo can be used to purchase other ammunition, weapons, and items within most of the metro stations. The game's locations reflect the dark atmosphere of real metro tunnels, with added survival horror elements. Strange phenomena and noises are frequent, and mostly the player has to rely only on the flashlight to find the way around in otherwise total darkness. Even more lethal is the surface, as it is severely irradiated and a gas mask must be worn at all times due to the toxic air. Often, locations have an intricate layout, and the game lacks any form of map, leaving the player to try to find their objectives only through a compass. As Metro 2033 aims to be immersive, the gameplay and interface are somewhat atypical. The game lacks a health meter, relying on audible heart rate and blood spatters on the screen to show the player's current state of health. The player must collect air filters for the gas mask, which last several minutes each and are automatically replaced provided the player has more in reserve. There is no heads-up display indicator to tell how long the player has until the gas mask's filters begin to fail. Rather, a timer on the character's wristwatch shows how long until the current filter expires. The gas mask can become visibly damaged and will stop functioning if punctured, requiring it to be replaced. With every weapon, the bullets are visible, informing the player that their weapon is about to run out of ammo and they have to reload. The game does feature sparse traditional HUD elements, such as an ammunition indicator. However, on the hardest difficulty setting, no HUD elements are present, and players have to keep track of ammunition by the partly visible magazines. There are also certain moral choices in the game that give points that lead to different endings. Choices can either get the player a good point, for example, saving prisoners from execution, or do nothing, while some can give negative moral points, like being rude to people or stealing. Plot: in late 2013, a nuclear war occurred. Russia was targeted with atomic bombs, causing severe radiation across Moscow, forcing the rest of the people to live underground in the metro stations away from the deadly effects of radiation. Many animals were heavily mutated into aggressive creatures which make travel dangerous. In 2033, Artyom, a 20-year-old male survivor and one of the firstborn in the metro, learns from Hunter, an elite soldier of the Rangers, that a group of mysterious creatures referred to as the Dark Ones are threatening Artyom's home station, VDNKH, in the metro. Hunter gives Artyom his dog tags and tells him if he does not come back, he must go to police and present these to see if they will help his station. Artyom must travel through territory occupied by Soviets and a Fourth Reich, and infested with mutants as well as the much-changed surface of the Moscow. Once in Polis, he meets with a ranger named Miller, who agrees to help him. Miller knows of a missile silo known as D6 that has the firepower necessary to destroy the Dark Ones. Artyom, Miller, and several other rangers reactivate the command center for the missiles, and Artyom installs a laser guidance system on a nearby radio tower. After the laser system is installed, Artyom experiences a vivid hallucination induced by a Dark One. After the hallucination, two endings are possible, depending on choices the player makes throughout the game. In the canonical ending, Artyom allows the missiles to fire, destroying the Dark Ones, only to realize later that they sought peace and the deaths by them were accidental. The alternate ending gives Artyom the choice to destroy the laser guidance device, citing a last-minute realization that the Dark Ones were actually attempting to make peaceful contact through the hallucinations. Development 4A Games was founded by Oles Shishkovtsov and Alexand Maximchuk, former programmers for GSC Game World who left about a year before the release of STALKER. Shadow of Chernobyl. Shishkovtsov and Maximchuk had worked on the development of X-ray engine used in the STALKER series. In March 2006, 4A Games announced a partnership with Glukhovsky to collaborate on the game. The game was announced at the 2009 Games Convention in Leipzig, along with an official trailer. The game utilizes multi-platform 4A engine, running on Xbox 360 and Microsoft Windows. There is some contention regarding whether the engine is based on the pre-release X-ray engine, or whether the engine is in original development. 4A engine features NVIDIA PhysX support, enhanced AI, and a console SDK for Xbox 360. The PC version includes exclusive features such as DirectX 11 support and has been described as a love letter to PC gamers, because of the developer's choice to make the PC version, especially phenomenal. A PlayStation 3 version was planned, but ultimately cancelled. On February 19, THQ and 4A Games announced the game features the latter's Steamworks software and DRM. This gives Metro 2033 achievements, Steam support for in-game downloadable content and auto-updating. Release. A collector's edition of the game was released in Russia. It contained the game itself in special packaging, a game guide, a map of the post-apocalyptic subway of Moscow and a unique watch with the game's logo on it. An even larger collector's edition was released in Poland. It contained the game itself in special packaging, a polished translation of the novel Metro 2033, instructions for the game, an army container and a gas mask. A special edition was also released in Germany. More similar in size to the Russian collector's edition and smaller than the Polish one, it contained the game itself in a special edition box, a hardback novel titled Davarundanak, a fully working replica of the watch that Artyom uses in the game, a bear-shaped keyring with one of Hunter's dog tags on it and a download code for the heavy automatic shotgun. In February 2014, the Xbox 360 version of 2033 was included in Microsoft's Games with Gold program exclusively for German subscribers. This served as a replacement for Dead Island, the game offered in other territories, as it is unavailable for purchase in Germany. On May 22, 2014, a raw version of the game was announced. It uses the latest version of the 4A engine, bringing the graphical and gameplay changes from Last Light to 2033. It's to be released on August 26, 2014 in North America and August 29, 2014 in Europe for the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. A compilation package, titled Metro Redo, will be released at the same time, which includes both games. Reception. The game has received generally favorable reviews, scoring 81/177/100 on Metacritic for the PC and Xbox 360 versions respectively. Game Informer praised it, giving it 9 out of 10. Game Zone's Dakota Grabowski gave the game an 8 out of 10, saying, The single-player affair is worthy of every FPS fanatic's time since the 4A games and THQ were able to put forth a wonderful tale that deserved telling. The world is engrossing as it invites players for multiple trips with the sheer amount of detail 4A games spent implementing into the environments. Metro 2033 is as pure as they come in the genre, and I gladly welcome any sequel that may reach fruition. Video game talk show Good Game gave the game an 8.5 out of 10, praising the RPG and survival horror elements which add richness to the gameplay, as well saying the HUD-less design was a choice which suits this particular game. Overall, they said, I'm a big Fallout 3 fan and I was worried this would try to be something similar and fail dismally. But it's more FPS than a PG, so I think it manages to dodge a direct comparison. They've just worked really hard to bring RPG narrative and decisions into the action, and it works. Xplay gave the game a 3 out of 5, the reviewer pointed out the game's great atmosphere, attention to detail, and that the game had some truly scary moments. The reviewer also pointed out that, they didn't do enough with the creepy atmosphere, saying that the game would come close to truly frightening moments, but never truly commits to scaring the audience. The reviewer said that the mapping of the buttons on the controller for the Xbox 360 can be less than optimal, but the problem does not apply to PC users. In the conclusion, the reviewer said that the game was, overall, a respectable effort, provided you don't expect the same level of depth found in, let's say, Fallout 3. GameSpot gave the game 7.5 out of 10 for the Xbox 360 version and 8 out of 10 for the PC version, praising the atmosphere but noting problems with the artificial intelligence and animations. IGN gave the game a lower rating of 6.9 out of 10, citing the frame rate, bugs, and disappointing graphics issues. Sequel, Metro, Last Light, previously called Metro 2034, was released on May 14, 2013 in North America and May 17, 2013 in Europe, Australia, New Zealand and Russia. References. External links, official website.